Dear students, in continuation with the previous lecture, we will see some more results in the algebra of convergent sequences. We are studying algebra of convergent sequences. Algebra of convergent sequences. So let us see a simple result. Let Sn n is equal to 1 to infinity be a convergent sequence be a convergent sequence of real numbers be a convergent sequence of real numbers and C be any real number. It is constant, it is a fixed real number. Then the sequence CSN converges to is convergent and limit of CSN equals to C times limit of Sn. C times limit of Sn. Proof. If C is equal to 0, then the result is clear because limit of both sequences will be 0. So if C is equal to 0, then clearly these limits are 0. It is a constant sequence and its limit is 0. Then limit n tends to infinity, CSN equals to 0, or better I'll write this is equal to C times limit n tends to infinity of Sn and it equals to 0. So the result is obvious when C is equal to 0. We are done with this case. Let C be not equal to 0. Take L as limit of Sn. Take L is equal to limit of Sn. By definition of limit, what we can write? By definition of limit of a sequence, we can write for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists n belongs to I such that n is greater equal to n implies mod Sn minus L is less than epsilon. Let us multiply this inequality by mod C. So what we will get is this: for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists n belongs to I such that n is greater equal to n implies mod CSN minus mod CL is less than. So there is a slight correction which I would like to make. As we have seen, we can make adjustments to epsilon, and since C we are not taking, I can replace this by mod C. I can replace epsilon by any expression. Say I can replace epsilon by 2 epsilon, epsilon square, root epsilon, mod C times epsilon, epsilon upon mod C, and so on, because epsilon is arbitrary. So I am multiplying this inequality by mod C, and then mod C gets cancelled. So what remains is this. We are left with this. And by definition of limit, we can say that this implies that limit of mod CSN equals to mod CL, not mod CL, CL, this is CL, and which equals to C times limit of Sn. This is what we wish to prove. So this completes the proof of this result. Let us see next result in algebra of convergent sequences. The statement is let Sn n is equal to 1 to infinity and Tn n is equal to 1 to infinity be convergent sequences of real numbers. Then so far we have seen that addition and subtraction of two convergent sequences is again a convergent sequence, and now we are going to prove that product of two convergent sequences is again convergent. Then Sn Tn n is equal to 1 to infinity is convergent, and limit of product is product of limits, and limit of product, that is limit of Sn Tn, is equal to product of limits, that is limit Sn into limit Tn. So this holds for convergent sequences. Let us prove this. Let L is equal to limit of Sn m is equal to limit of Tn take epsilon greater than 0. We have to use definition of limit. So we begin by taking some arbitrary epsilon which is positive. Take epsilon greater than 0. What we want to prove? We want to prove that limit of Sn Tn is Lm. We want to prove that limit of Sn into Tn is L into M. So recall the definition of limit. If we want to prove that limit of Sn and Tn is Lm, then what we must prove? So I'll do some rough work before I proceed in order that you get the idea of the proof. So here we wish to prove limit of Sn Tn equals to Lm. So this implies that for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists n belongs to I such that if n is greater equal to n, then mod Sn Tn minus Lm is less than epsilon. So let us work on this part. This is the rough work which I am putting for better understanding of the proof. So Sn Tn, I could put this as Sn minus say m plus Sn m minus Lm. So I am adding and subtracting this term Sn into limit of Tn, that is Sn into m, and if we further simplify this will get simplified to mod Sn Tn minus m plus mod Sn minus L into m, or into say mod m. Okay, so this we can make as small as we want because Tn converges to m, and this also we can make as small as we want because Sn converges to L. So the only thing which we need to take care of is about the convergence. So mod Sn, I could say it is, I will use boundedness of Sn, and then I can obtain the required. So if Sn is bounded by say q, then I could write this as epsilon by 2q, where q is bound of Sn, and this I can make as epsilon by 2, and again mod m I can take mod m may be 1, so some adjustments I have to make, and this is going to be less than epsilon. Now at this point you might not have got whatever I am trying to explain, but this rough work is necessary in order to have a proper choices of epsilon and positive integers, say n1, n2, or maybe n3 will need. So what I am going to do, basically I am going to make this difference less than epsilon by doing these adjustments. Even if you don't understand at this point, it is okay. Once I complete the proof, everything will be clear. Okay, so just remember that mod Tn minus m, we are going to make it less than epsilon by 2q, where q is bound of Sn, and this we are going to make less than epsilon upon 2 mod m plus 1. I am adding 1 because mod m may be 0 as well. That is the reason. Okay, so we will proceed with this rough work. Since Sn n is equal to 1 to infinity is convergent, since Sn is convergent sequence, it is bounded. Recall that we have proved that every convergent sequence is bounded. Okay, so since Sn is convergent, it is bounded. So there is q greater than 0 such that mod Sn is less equal to q for all n belongs to I. So this is first statement. Now we will make adjustments. This mod Tn minus m, we are going to make it less than epsilon by 2q, and this we are going to make it less than epsilon upon 2 times norm m plus epsilon upon 2 into mod m plus 1, as limit of Sn equals to L and limit of Tn equals to N, there are N1 and N2 in I such that n is greater equal to n1 implies that mod Sn minus L is recall the rough work which we had done. So mod Sn, I should say mod Sn minus L, that is correct, is less than epsilon upon 2 times norm m plus 1. I am adding this 1 because norm m may be 0. So in order to avoid the fact that or in order to avoid the case that denominator is 0, I am adding 1 here. And n greater equal to n2 implies, so this is in with reference to our rough work which we have done, norm Tn minus m is less than epsilon upon 2q. Okay, say this is third statement. Okay, now we have seen this before so many times. If I want both of these statements, which statements? Mod Sn minus L less than epsilon upon 2 times norm m plus 1 and norm Tn minus m is less than epsilon upon 2q. To hold simultaneously, I have to take maximum of n1 and n2. So take n is equal to maximum of n1 and n2. Then what we will have? Both these statements will hold simultaneously. Then for note that we are taking n greater equal to n, which is actually greater equal to n1 comma n2. Then for n greater equal to n, we have consider our desired difference. Note that we are selecting n greater equal to n. So we have mod Sn Tn minus Lm. This is equal to, add and subtract, mod Sn m plus Msn minus Lm. By triangle inequality, we have this is less equal to mod Sn mod Tn minus m plus last two terms mod Sn minus L mod m. So first part corresponds to this and this part. So triangle inequality we are using, and as n is greater equal to n, which is greater equal to n1 and n2, from second and third we can write this as from first, second and third. First says that mod Sn is less equal to q, so this is q. Mod Tn minus m, from third it is less than epsilon by 2q, plus mod Sn minus L, it is less than epsilon upon 2 times norm m plus 1, 2 times norm m plus 1 into norm m, and give reference here. This follows from first, second and third. First, second and third, because n is greater or equal to n1, n2. Continuing this sequence of inequalities, this I can write strictly less than, because we have strictly less than at couple of places, at both places. So these two places. So this is equal to epsilon upon 2 plus epsilon upon 2 norm mod m plus mod m plus 1. As this is less than 1, this is less than epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2, which equals to epsilon. So beginning with this, we proved that this difference is less than epsilon. Thus, whenever n is greater or equal to n, we have this difference or distance between Sn, Tn and Lm is less than epsilon. So for every epsilon greater than 0, there is some n, positive integer n, satisfying this property. Hence, by definition of limit, we can write that limit of Sn Tn equals to Lm, which is nothing but L is limit of Sn and m is limit of Tn. So limit of Sn into limit of Tn. So limit of Sn Tn equals to limit of Sn into limit of Tn. And this is what we wish to prove, that limit of Sn Tn is Lm, which equals to this. This completes the proof of this theorem. So we have seen some results in algebra of sequences topic. There are few other results which are left, but once definitions are clear and the idea is clear, you can prove the remaining results. So let me tell you which are remaining results. I request you to prove these remaining results. I have provided you detailed notes, and in live sessions also we will discuss this. You may try to prove it or refer to the notes which I have provided to you, and we will also have a discussion in live session as well. So these are the remaining results which you can try to prove. Limit of Sn square equals to limit of Sn bracket square. So limit of square is square of limit. If Sn is convergent sequence, we are studying algebra of convergent sequences, means all sequences which are involved are convergent. Then limit of 1 upon Tn is equal to 1 upon limit of Tn. If Tn is having non-zero limit and it is convergent, and Tn is having non-zero terms and limit of Tn is also non-zero, then in that case this holds. And finally this result, limit of, you can easily prove this by using the result, this result and this result. If you combine this result and this result, the result which we have proved now and this result, we can easily have the proof of this. So it is the consequences of already proved result. There is no need to use definition of limit. You can prove this by using the results which we have already established. So I request you to go through proof of these two results. Thank you.